Well, thanks, Lori. Now I'm all kind of a wreck that you mentioned me in there. But the message I have to give to you today is this. They returned with joy. They returned with joy. Joy, like happy joy. Right? Smile on their face, joy. A light in their heart, joy. The 70 that Jesus sent out returned with joy. That's what Luke tells us. Jesus, before he sends them out, he says, look, you're going to be like lambs or sheep amongst the wolves. This is going to be dangerous. You might get hurt. This is not some sort of, easy job I'm giving you. This is real. And I want you to go into the communities that I'm going to go into. Go there before me and stay with the people that welcome you. And put your peace upon them. But some of them, they're going to reject you. When they do that, don't get stuck there. Just move on. Make it better. And 70 went out. And they returned with joy. Now, ASP volunteers, I got a question for you. Did you return with joy? Yes? Yes? You got a smile on your face? Right? Did you share stories last night with your friends and your family? Yes. Did you show some pictures? Yes. There is something about doing God's work that brings joy. Church, community members, when you saw these people come back, our volunteers, did you have joy in your heart? Yes, right? See, some people, they think, if you're going to do God's work, if you're going to do good, there's got to be no benefit for you. But oh no, that is not true. If you read the gospel, if you follow the testimony of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, if you read what Paul says, if you listen to what these people are saying, there is a reward for doing God's work, and it is joy. You had that feeling of joy, and it feels great, right? Feels so good. Now, I got blisters all over my hands. I was digging holes this week out in the sun. I woke up today, I think I'm still dehydrated. But I'm ready to go because I'm full of joy. And especially when our group of volunteers came in, all that feeling tired and a little bit beat down after a long week went away. Because I heard and saw and felt their testimonies of that joy. So what I want to do today is to not have this just be a special experience, a one-time, a year sort of thing. We want to take what happened last week and this experience of our community supporting us, and we want to bring it into the everyday. And we're going to keep with this phrase, make it better, because you all can remember that, right? What if you woke up every day instead of going, it's time to get up again? I got a long day at work. The kids are already, crying. What if instead you woke up and said, I'm ready to make it better. I'm ready to do something. I'm ready to get me some of that joy that comes with doing God's work, with extending myself for the purpose of making it better. What if you jumped out of bed and you're ready to go? Who wants some of that? Right? If you figure it out, let me know. I got some ideas, but I want some. Right? It's amazing on this trip. We craft a culture around ourselves with our high fives and our warm fuzzies and our joys and concerns at the end of the night. The people come back after having their head down in a hole all day long, and they're like, my day was great. How was yours? There's something about that. We can have that every day. And we're going to look to the story of Jesus sending the 70 out to get a few pointers. You all with me on that? You all with me on that? Yes. All right. Hey, come on now. I didn't get much sleep. I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this. We got home at 8 o'clock. I need some help this morning. All right? All right. So we're in the Gospel of Luke, the 10th chapter. If you'd like to follow along, because I might be all over the place, it is page 71. I'll give you a second if you'd like to read the scripture. So I'm going to read a little bit, tell a little bit of the story. I'm going to try to connect it We're going to round up with a few points, and I'm going to tell you one of the stories that was my favorite, a personal one of the week at the very end, and then we'll go have some barbecue chicken. All right? Here we go. Chapter 10, verse 1. The Lord appointed 70 others and sent them ahead of him in pairs to every town and place where he, that being Jesus, himself intended to go. Back around the year 30, in what we would now call Israel, the Lord, meaning God through Jesus, appointed 70 people to go do some work. Now, it's a matter of fact that in 2014, through his church at 2515 Central Park Avenue, God also appointed 90 volunteers to go out and do his work. So something we just learned about God, God is in the business of constantly calling people to go out and do his work. And you felt that. You know that. And I'll be succeeding if I'm just telling you a bunch of stuff you already know, because this is not about information today. It's about inspiration. We want to do it, make it better every day. Right? So, back to the scripture. He said to them, the harvest is plentiful. This is verse 2. The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. The harvest, what are we harvesting? We're harvesting good. We're harvesting joy. We're harvesting hope. New beginnings. That's what we're doing down in Appalachia, right? I mean, I built a couple porches, but that wasn't really the point. It was that connection with the family and that new beginning to make it a little bit better. The harvest is plentiful. I mean, one of the hard things to deal with when you come down to Appalachia, and you can have this experience in all sorts of other places, you see a lot of need. And that can be depressing. And it is sad and it is appropriate to grieve that. But you also can choose to look at it as opportunities to harvest good. We could quadruple our group. Yes, 360 volunteers, wouldn't that be great? Maybe it's a good thing I'm leaving. Right. We could quadruple our group and still not address or harvest all the good that could be done in Central Appalachia. The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Do you start to feel a call on your heart? Jesus says, go on your way. I'm sending you out like lambs in the midst of wolves. There's danger involved, folks. You got to take some risks in life. You don't want to be down in the water down by your ankles. You know, the fun gets when you get in over your head. That's where the faith starts to begin. And there's danger. So you got to take some risks to get that joy. You got to put yourself out there for good things. And here comes our pointers. This is kind of odd the first time I read it. This is verse 4. Jesus tells them, carry no purse, no bag, no sandals, and greet no one on the road. Carry no purse, no bag, no sandals. What does he mean? What are we talking about here? I mean, this is like his instructions to go out. Carry no purse, no bag, no sandals. What is a purse? Purse is money. You know what stops us quite often? We go, if I just had a little bit more money, I might do something. We need just a little bit more than that. I mean, this is not financial planning right now, but you know, when we're trying to do God's work, often we go, hey, we just don't have enough money. But if you were here at the commissioning service 2 weeks ago, we learned that Jesus says, hey, let's start with what we got. Let's let God fill in the rest. Carry no purse. One of the things that stops us from engaging in a ministry that is going to create joy is that we think we don't have enough money. It says carry no purse. Don't worry about that. Carry no bag. Sometimes we don't think we have the resources. We don't have the right tools. I tell you what, on Appalachia, we use all sorts of things as tools that aren't really even tools. We dig with hammers. Right? The thing that can stop you from doing some good in the world is say, hey, I don't have the right stuff. If I had the right equipment, I'd do something. Jesus says carry no bag. Don't worry about that. Just get out there. The final one, this is going to be a little bit of a stretch. I had to think on this one. Carry no sandals. Sandals are what? On your feet. Feet is what moves you. It's your energy. I don't have enough energy. Another thing that's going to stop you from getting out there and taking a risk and really doing something in the world, I just don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can work 5 weeks. I don't know if I can get up tomorrow and dig holes all day long again. I don't think I have enough money. I don't know if I have enough resources. I don't know if I have enough energy. Carry no purse, no bag, no sandals. These are the types of things that get in our way, that stop us. And they're gonna come at you no matter what. If you really get out there and you want to do some good and you want to get at it every day, you're going to face one or two or all three of these. So just know that. If we all can agree on that, then it's not that big of a deal, right? It's just going to happen. You go, hey, Scott warned me. Luke warned us. So when you get out there and you start to say, hey, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough resources. I don't have enough energy. Go, there it is. But Jesus says, go anyway. Now his next piece of advice, this sounds kind of a little rough, but he says, don't talk to anyone on the road. Don't greet anybody. Now, in other places in the gospel, we are directed to be hospitable to one another, right? We spend a lot of time working on that with our ASP crew. I think it is the glue that holds us together. We literally do seminars on how to high five, right? And we did a great one on how to hug. Right? It was like preparing to engage, boom, right? Release, now, it's getting uncomfortable, right? We work on the stuff. So, but here, what is he talking about? Greet no one on the road. What else can stifle you? Losing your focus. You want to do some ministry? You got to figure out what you're geared for, what you're called to, and stick to that. What if on ASP we got a great idea? This would be a great idea. We were going to put on a talent show for all the kids in the community. Bring them some joy. Right? We got some funny people. We got some talented people. What if we were to decide to do that in Knott County? It would take time away from our work. Right? We're not geared for a talent show. We didn't bring the supplies for that. We're geared for work. We bring things like this. Stay focused on the work that you're called to. Jesus talks about this in another sort of way. As we follow the story a little bit, it says, whatever house you enter, first say peace to this house. And if anyone there who shares in peace, your peace will rest on that person. But if not, if they don't share in your peace will return to you. Your peace will return to you. This is the way we should live. It's not the way we always live. Your peace will return to you. Have you ever extended your peace to somebody and they didn't reciprocate? Have you ever put yourself out there for somebody and they weren't so nice? Like, hey, I just did you a favor and you're not even recognizing it? And then what happens? We get mad. My peace is, I extended out my peace and I left it out there. It didn't return to me. Instead, I'm upset. As we learned at Emmanuel Baptist Church, we do things like we rehearse our anger, right? I was like kind of mad, but I've just been rehearsing that wrong, and now I'm really mad. I'm cooking it up fiery hot, and actually kind of feels good. We've lost our peace. But you want to succeed in a personal ministry, you want to have that joy every day, you got to let that peace return to you. I extend my peace. If you don't like it, I'll take it back. Right? Extend my peace to you. You like it, you get to keep it. Extend my peace to you. You don't like it, I'll take that back. There's some other people. Don't get distracted. Don't get bogged down. Right? Go a little bit further here. At 6, or 7 it would be, remain in the same house. Remain in the same house. There's a lot of good houses out there. There's a lot of good work to be done. We could do something other than the Appalachian Service Project. Maybe we wouldn't become part of REACH, but we could do some other things, right? Inside joke. Remain in the same house. There's a lot of good opportunities out there, but if you really want to make a difference, when you find a good one, stick to it and go deep with it. Focus your energy. Don't talk to a bunch of people on the road. You know, you do have a limited amount of energy. That shouldn't stop you from trying, but remain in one place. You know, one of the things that I found as I got a little bit older and I started to be able to make decisions about where I live, it's like, should I live in Evanston? Or should I move to Colorado? That would be pretty cool. In the wintertime, I think about moving to California or Florida. A bunch of people are with me on that, right? Right? There's all sorts of good places to live. And I could move around from town to town to town, and they're all good places, but you really start to make an impact when you spend 5 years or 9 years, when you invest your energy into a place. So that's the advice. Stay in one place. When you find a good thing like we have with ASP, we just go ahead and just keep doing it every year and trying to make it better each year. We sit down in August and look at the program and say, hey, what can we do to make it different, make it better, make it bigger, make it stronger? Stay in one place. So, our principles that we want to look at here. The first one that we learned, the no bag, no purse, no sandals. Start with what you got. There's always going to be a limited amount of things when you are putting yourself out there to do something good. You're always going to face some sort of gap of resources. But in faith, you can start with what you got and get rolling. Because you know that if you're doing God's work, you do the things that you know how to do, and then you let God do what only God can do. So start with what you've got. If you want to engage in a personal ministry that brings joy into your life every day, don't wait until you have all the money in the world and all the resources and all the energy, because, little secret, that day's never coming. You'll never have that day. I like to say that if I only worked out when I felt like it, I would never work out. Right? It goes for all sorts of things in life, so that day's never coming. Start with what you've got. Point number 2 is stay focused. When you find a good thing or a good place, go deep with it. Work on it. Craft it. Nurture it. Build it. Make it strong. And the final one we already actually touched on. I'm going to tell you this principle, and I'm going to tell you a story. I'll be done. Final one is share your joy. Luke tells us that after the 70 have been out, doing the work of the Lord, making things better, they come back and they are full of joy, and they said, hey, Jesus, even the demons submitted to us. You know what a demon is? Don't know what a demon is? It's a destructive force in life. It's those things that hold us down. It's those bad attitudes. Even the demons submitted to us this week, right? We were able to overcome bad attitudes. We had a drive one night. We got lost on the way to the picnic. Kind of my fault, kind of everybody's fault in our van. Well, staff maybe. Anyways, we'll leave that to the side. We were driving around for like an hour and a half. And it could have gone bad. Instead, we started going, wow, it's so pretty. This is a scenic route. We wanted to take this. We overcame those demons, right? Did not allow the fact that we were late for the picnic and hungry after a day's work to spoil our joy. Even the demons submitted to us. Stay focused. Start with what you got and share your joy. This is your due this week, right? I gave you an idea. We talked about personal ministry, how to get this joy that comes, the reward for extending yourself out, risking yourself out to make the world better around you. And here's what you got to do. When you do that, or when you see somebody doing that, talk about that. Share that joy. You might say, well, hey, I want to be a humble person. Well, that's good. Having humility is about having a proper assessment of yourself, and that's great, and we should have that, but you also should share the stories where God has used you to make it better. Because other people need to hear them. All of us go through tough times. All of us feel isolated. All of us have times where we don't have enough energy to get out of bed, and we need to hear some stories from other people that God is still active in the world. There is a power that can overcome even what you got. Share your stories. Tell them. So I'll tell you mine. On Thursday, we've been digging for several days at our work site, digging holes in the rocky Kentucky soil, which is more like chipping out rocks. My hands hurt so bad I can barely hold on to anything. And I see my good friend Al Williams. Where is Al? There he is. Hey, Al. And I'm thinking it's going to be a joyful conversation because it almost always is with Al. And he informs me that the two tools that we had gotten that had made a real difference at our work site, this big, huge, heavy spud bar that you could really break through rocks, and then this drill that has an auger on it, you can turn up the dirt, totally transformed our work site. He says, I need those two tools. And I said, that's funny because I can't give them to you. And I said, and I'd also like a cold Ale-8 if you got one. He said, well, we'll see if we can give you that. We got a little bit of an issue. So Al starts first. He says, here's the Ale-8. It's a drink that we all drink down there. It's a soda. And then he says to me, Scott, you know what? I understand you need the tools. We got a shortage of them. I'm going to go ahead and get up at 6 a.m. and get out there, start digging out these holes so you can have your tools for your work site. And before I knew it, slips out of my mouth, I'll join you. So, who said that? Who said that? And so now I'm signed up, to get up at 6 a.m. and dig up some holes at somebody else's site, not even my own. And then we go around, we start collecting some people. We get a group of about 5 of us. We walk up to Patrick Ben. Where is he at? Right here. I say, Patrick, how do you feel about digging some holes at 6 a.m.? Ideal day. This kid's, I don't know if he's like missing a screw or something, right? And we get some other guys. We get Judd, who's definitely in. He's up early anyways. He's out running on ASP. That's ridiculous, right? And we call it special ops, and we kind of make a fun thing out of it, and we go under the cover at night or the early morning and go out and dig out these holes. And we got a big group of us, so it's not that big of a deal. It's not that hard. And out there is a veteran of ASP, this guy Henry. He's been on a trip for a while. And he's leaving the next day early, him and his son and Will Lacey and Ginger, a group of people, because they have a lacrosse tournament they're going to. And so we already planned for them not to be working at their site. And so we're out there digging the holes on that morning, on Friday morning, and Henry's going to leave later that day. And I say, ooh, if I had a crew like this, some real muscle. I mean, my crew, we're working hard, but, we're tired. We've been doing it all week. If we had some big burly men, this would be something. And Henry says, you know what, Scott? Tell you what, after breakfast, we'll stop by your place on the way out. Thank you. Right? I did what I knew how to do. I said yes. I said, I'll help you, Al. I was a little surprised that came out, but I still said it. I can help you. I can help recruit some other people. I don't know how we're going to dig our holes because we're going to be all alone again and we're kind of tired. And, our crew is not as big as those guys, so it takes a little longer. But I'll help out with this thing. I know how to do that. And then God did what only God could do. He found some reinforcements for our crew. Right? My work crew, difference maker that day. We were able to get our holes finished, put up the porch, put on the boards, reattach the stairs, and our homeowner was able to walk out her front porch. It was a beautiful sight. We took like 30 pictures on it. Right? So this is it, right? This is my story, right? It's about, the good ones are always about how God comes through with grace. Something unexpected happens. That gap between what you have and what needs to be done is somehow filled. He sends somebody or something to do it for you. Tell those stories. The more you tell them, the more your faith will grow. And the more you'll be able to do. And the more joy you will have. Amen.